There's a lot of clicking going on. And so when I've been teaching hypnotherapy in the past, and we focused on maybe suggestions of making change, what I've found was people could make the change for a few months, but something would bring them back. You guys, having done hypnotherapy, would have noticed that. Like if we made suggestions, for people losing weight, things like that, if we just solely worked on weight loss and changing food and exercise, it could work for a couple of weeks, but people tended to come back. And usually they came back when they were triggered or things were going on in their life. They might say, oh, I just went through a breakup and, I went back to my old eating habits, things like that. Who's had that happen before? Yeah. Yeah. So with me teaching hypnosis and hypnotherapy now, I found what was so important, the reason why it's trauma informed now is we really focus on what's going on underneath, what's causing the person to do the behaviors they're doing. If someone's going into the kitchen at night time and snacking on food before bed, what is the sensation, what is the feeling, or what is going on underneath to make that person do that, and why can't they stop? Trauma-informed therapy recognizes that we've all experienced, we've all got stuff going on underneath, and not all the stuff that affects us greatly in life is what we call big T trauma. It's normally little stuff. It's normally developmental stuff. It can go back to waking up in, a bedroom at 1.5, and the room is really dark and no one's there, and the person, that child for the first time gets, whoa, I'm alone. And that moment, gets stuck in our mind of being alone, and that sensation grows through our life. We tend to think when we're working with trauma, oh, I don't want to work with trauma. People say it to me all the time, oh, I want to do hypnotherapy, but I don't want to work with trauma, so I'm not going to learn it. It's, we work with it every day, and we live out our stories every day. Every time we walk into a room and we have a sensation come up in our body for no reason why, our brain has noticed something in that room. So whether we like it or not, we are, for whatever people are coming in with, we are tapping into this stuff. Someone might be doing really well in life, but they can't move forward even further. People say, well, what do you do with people, that life is really good and they're coming in? I'm sitting there, well, why are they coming in? Life might be really good, but what's stopping them from moving forward? What's stopping them from taking them the next step? And it will be a sensation in their body. They might call it, whatever name they want to call it. But underlying that, there's a sensation or something coming up that's stopping them moving forward. And this is what we're working with the golden thread. I'm not teaching you today how to work with big T trauma. So we can use golden thread on people with PTSD and all of these kind of things. But when we tend to work with those people, the event itself that they're working on, they've usually had a lot of work done through counselling, through all the normal means of working with. They've done through talk therapy, they've gone to counselling, they've done all of this really good work. And yeah, that work does affect what we call explicit memories that we have access to. We can use our frontal lobe, we can use cognitive therapies to process and work through those things. But by the time they come to us, it's not necessarily that anymore. It's I've done all this really good work, but I still have this sensation that comes up in my body when I think about that. And what we know now is that that sensation is actually tied up to things well before, but the event that happened now has just triggered it and made it worse. So once again, if someone does come to me for anxiety, depression, PTSD, things like that, I don't work on the event that they believe, caused these feelings. I work solely with what's going up in the body. And like I said, it's never the big event that they're coming in for. It's always smaller things. So for us being trauma informed, if you put next to your name, I'm a trauma informed hypnotherapist after doing this, it just really means you understand that underlying what people are bringing into the room, there's stuff that needs to be shifted. Trauma-informed means working in a way that's safe, working in a way that empowers the client. Empowerment is, and also it, if you read this, it talks about choice and trust. It's big on that. For an implicit memory to come forward, the client has to trust us. They're not going to bring those feelings into the room with us. So we do, even though you'll find that this technique is quite quick and quite direct, we need to do it quickly to work with these memories. When a person starts talking to us, the trust is there. When we talk about choice, when we work in this way and we start to shift feelings, we actually give people their choice back. So if someone's walking into the kitchen and they are eating, say, biscuits, you know, and they don't want to be, in that moment, the personality that's eating the biscuits, the person now doesn't have a choice. They're going through a response that they need to move a sensation out of their body. So by us moving their sensations out of the body, we're giving them their choice back, if that makes sense. Empowerment, we learn two ways in GT. I teach you a way that I'm calling it rapid now and not symbols, because people, when you're working with people that have done a lot of training, when I call it symbols, they it can be a bit more difficult to work with them because they start to analyze what we're doing, whereas what we're doing is something fast and something different. So I'm starting, you might hear me call it rapid technique instead of symbols, just so that, but that technique, we actually teach it to our clients so they can do it themselves at home. We don't want to do something with our clients where only we can do it for them and they can't repeat it. So the golden thread, when we take them back to the moment the memory got stuck, yes, you can't do that at home and you can't do that yourself. And people think they can, but even ourselves, if we bring up a feeling and go back to the moment that feeling got stuck, we're not working with implicit memories. We're working with memories we have access to. The part of our brain, I'll talk about it later, that the implicit memories are in, doesn't work with the part of our brain that actually has the ability to look at what we're doing and analyze it. So if we're doing a process where we're looking at what we're doing and we're directing ourselves in it, we're working with a different kind of memory. And I mean, it's excellent to work on those memories too. It's just a different technique. We're getting more into hypnotherapy and healing. But the rapid or the symbols technique, we're going to teach our clients to do that anytime they notice that they're triggered. And so that way they can go out there and actually start switching off these personalities that are playing up, switching off these feelings themselves. So for me, it is all about empowerment. What else does it say here? So the golden, so it talks about we understand the choices we make and our behaviors can be due to past experiences and a way of coping. So when someone does ask you, well, what does trauma-informed hypnotherapy mean? This is what it means. So it's just working in a way where we will work on why the body's doing what it's doing and not just shifting symptoms. So